What will happen next in Donald Trump's case, and will he be subject to a gag order? Donald Trump, who has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying company records, has become the first former American president to ever face criminal charges. What will happen to him and his defense team now? Despite the fact that they are typically considered to be minor infractions, Mr. Trump is suspected of committing felonies, which are more serious offenses that can result in a maximum sentence of incarceration. The accusations concern Mr. Trump's participation in payments of hush money to former porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 presidential election. The trial, should it proceed, will be broadcast worldwide. Yet the pending legal procedure might take months, and Mr. Trump's attorneys will undoubtedly attempt to have the case dismissed. Legal experts have predicted that the judge may issue Mr. Trump with a so-called gag order prohibiting him and his legal team from discussing this case in public. The former president alleged on social media that Judge Juan Merchan hates him and treated his business viciously in a previous tax fraud case. Furthermore vilified by him as an animal and degenerate psychopath whose probe could result in death and destruction is Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Judge Merchan stated that he would not issue a gag order at this moment even if it were asked at his Tuesday arraignment because one was not requested. Nonetheless, he made specific words to the former president, requesting that he refrain from saying or doing anything that has the potential to instigate violence, cause civil unrest, or endanger the safety or well-being of any individual. A little over 5 hours later, Mr. Trump made remarks specifically criticizing the judge and prosecution. At a speech to supporters at his Florida residence, he attacked Mr. Bragg as a failed district attorney who should be held accountable, and he attacked Judge Merchan as a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife and family. The former president will be found in contempt of court and subject to a fine of $1,000, £800, up to 30 days in jail, or both if Judge Merchan does issue a gag order in the future and the Trump team disobeys it. For 5 years, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has been looking into the Trump hush money payments. Because the payments were made in support of an illegal endeavor to influence the 2016 presidential election, which is against the law, Mr. Bragg claims that Mr. Trump lied about the exact nature of the payments. Following Mr. Trump's arraignment, the prosecution must now conduct what is known as discovery, in which it provides Mr. Trump's defense team with any evidence it has obtained during its investigation. The Bragg team has been granted 65 days, or until 6 June, to produce the great majority of its materials. Normally, this is finished within 35 days of arraignment. Key witnesses including Ms. Daniels and Mr. Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen will testify as witnesses, and prosecutors' internal communications will also be used as evidence. Minutes and materials from the grand jury that Mr. Bragg called earlier this year to examine the claims in more detail will also be included. In a matter of days, Mr. Trump's attorneys have vowed to contest the allegations against him, claiming that the situation is ripe for moves. Before a trial begins, motions are petitions for the court to rule on an issue pertaining to a case. A party that moves to dismiss asks the court to throw out all or a portion of the case. Normally, New York gives motions 45 days after arraignment, but Judge Merchan has gave the Trump team little over 4 months to finish all of their motions, or until 8 August, and gave prosecutors until 19 September to submit their answer. Joseph Tacopina, an attorney for Trump, promised to examine all our legal alternatives and pursue everyone very forcefully on CNN on Sunday. The team will examine each and every potential problem that we may challenge, and we will, he said. And so, I fully expect a motion to dismiss the case since there is no applicable legislation. What Trump's 34 criminal charges against him show, what Trump's court appearance tells us. The Trump campaign has also suggested a motion to transfer the trial site from Manhattan to nearby Staten Island, as well as a motion to remove the judge from the case. Mr. Trump claimed on social media that a trial in Manhattan, with certain parts that voted 1% Republican, would be very unfair. Yet requests to change the venue are rarely accepted. We won't know for sure whether or not the people of New York v. Donald Trump will go to trial until after each side's motions have been resolved. Within 6 months of an indictment, defendants in New York have the right to a speedy trial, yet on Tuesday, prosecutors informed the court that they hope to hold a trial in January 2024. A trial date in the spring would be more reasonable, according to Mr. Trump's attorneys. On December 4, when the court will rule on motions, Mr. Trump is anticipated to return to the witness stand. Hence, if the lawsuit does ultimately proceed to trial, it will most likely commence following the start of American primary elections to choose their presidential candidates in 2024. At least 2 more examples in which Mr. Trump may be charged with crimes are the extensive special counsel investigation into his attempts to rig the 2020 election and his handling of classified information after leaving office. Yet since there are no rules prohibiting an American who has been charged from running for president, the Republican is moving forward with his 3rd consecutive presidential bid.